Hi. For our third speech, which is the informative speech, I decided to write my speech here on the reality show Duck Dynasty. It's kind of a goofy show where there's a family of people and a few friends that work for the family business, and they're really quirky and they do things together and they're really goofy and do all kinds of funny things. Um, the topic that I chose to do my speech over for the show Duck Dynasty was the concept of family in the communications text. Um, the book defines family as a network of people who live together over long periods of time, bound by the ties of marriage, blood, or commitment, legal or otherwise, who consider themselves family and who share a significant history and anticipated future of functioning in a family relationship. That is an extremely wordy and pretty awful way to describe a family. Everyone has their own family and what they may consider normal or abnormal. But everyone has a family and can kind of connect with the concepts in the show and has family members that they feel are similar or dissimilar from people in the show, and not just in the show per se, but in anywhere in life you'll see people out and about that remind you of maybe your uncle or somebody, and it really kind of can make you laugh if it reminds you of somebody in your family. Um, this TV show is really good at doing that. It kind of gives you things to think about and look at, and it reminds you of people in your own family. Um, the family that is followed in the Duck Dynasty show is the Robertson family. Um, there's definitely some examples of family diversity. Willie, who is the son of Phil. Phil is kind of the patriarch of the family. Willie is his son who has taken over the family business. Um, Willie actually has an adopted son whose name is Willie Jr. He's got a few other kids as well, but Willie Jr. is his only son that's adopted, and he happens to be African American. This leads to the concept of family diversity, which is in the text. This is both diversity, not just because he is an African American son that Willie's adopted, but also because Willie Jr. is not the biological son of Willie or Corey. So that plays into the concept of family diversity in the text. Um, there's not a whole lot of other family diversity in the show. There are a few people who work with the family business. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Martin is one of them, and I believe the other one is referred to as Godwin. These two individuals are very close friends of the family, and they work for the family business, and they do a lot of things with the family. And I would say that they are considered part of the family in this reality TV show, and that also lends itself to the concept of family diversity. Um, Also, in the definition of family in the book, it talks about a couple different types of couples or groups of family. Basically, in not so many words as the book uses, there's a traditional type where they do everything together and they plan everything together, and it's real traditional kind of values. Um, there's also kind of a blended approach where the family members like to do things on their own, but they still have a lot of traditional concepts and values and do a lot of things together. And then there was a not so traditional way area or a category, I guess you'd call it, where the individuals in this relationship, whether it's a man and his wife or whatever it might be, but the the last category listed in the book is basically where the two individuals in the book, or the two individuals in the relationship rather, will do a lot of things independently, and they like their own space, and they like their own things. In the show, the men in the show, Willie and Phil and Jace and all the men, they really enjoy going out on hunting trips, duck hunting and deer hunting, and they do a lot of fishing and goofing around at the golf course and stuff like that, where their wives aren't present, and they do a lot of goofing around like that on their own, which kind of lends that third category where they're really independent, but also they're a very traditional family. They eat a lot of meals together. They do a lot of cooking together. In one of the episodes that I watched, the Robertson family, all the men kind of got together and decided it was a real hot day down there in Louisiana where the show takes place, and they decided that they needed to build a water park for the family. So they involved the whole family in it and got everyone together, and they built, water slides and a rope pull for towing a little inner tube across the lake, and they involved the whole family in this, and the women got together out there and they cooked a big meal, and they all had a big meal out there and shared a good time, and it definitely reminded me of things that my family would do, and so that's a good example of how they have both kind of a traditional side of their family, as well as a not so traditional side where they like to do things independently. I'm sure a lot of people out there are like that, where they like their own space. Me personally, I really like to go out golfing and do some things that my girlfriend won't like to do with me so much. I go out and do a lot of hunting and fishing, golfing, like I said, that kind of thing. And that's not necessarily something that she would really enjoy doing with me. But it is something that we enjoy sitting down and talking about together. After we do something independent like that, we do come back and sit down, have dinner, and kind of talk about what we did and what kind of fun we had and that kind of thing. And so that kind of draws the independent side together with the traditional side, and that was a kind of overarching theme in the show here, Duck Dynasty. I watched probably 10 or 15 episodes of it. It was actually something that I hadn't seen a lot of before. I got on the internet and looked up a few videos of it to do this project, and there was a lot of concepts, and it really family really stuck out to me. And after reading the text, where it talked about traditional families and then kind of a blended approach to that, where it's really traditional, but they also have some independence, and then a really independent side, as three different categories for those relationships between couples or families, and it really stuck out how they like to go out and do things on their own, like hunting and fishing and that kind of thing, and I could really relate to that, and it definitely kind of made me laugh and smile and made me watch along. The family really has some issues communicating. A lot of things arise because of failures to communicate properly. A lot of things tend to go wrong. There'll be a lot of things that should have went smoothly or seem like it should have been a simple task, and because of their failures to communicate, it breaks down in a hurry, and usually in a pretty funny way. A lot of that's probably intentional for the TV show purposes, but it definitely makes it entertaining. The show, like I said, kind of to wrap things up, the family portrayed in this reality TV series, Duck Dynasty, is they're a traditional family. They eat a lot of meals together. They do cooking. they involve their whole family in a lot more things than most families would, and so it kind of makes you feel as if it would be a really traditional family in that sense. But also the men really like to go out and do their own thing. In one episode I watched, they were building a racing lawnmower and going out and racing on these lawnmowers, and obviously the women wanted no part of being involved in that. Others complain at them and tell them that they were going to hurt themselves and that kinds of thing. And I can see a lot of that in my family. And so the TV show really drew me in, and kind of spoke to how my family communicates, and it was definitely interesting to me. Um, but also in the show, it exhibited family diversity as well as these different categories of the family. And overall, I was very entertained with the show, and it definitely opened my eyes while reading the text and then relating it to this TV show, as to what the different types of families are, and it was definitely worth taking the time to put in and read it. And I was very interested after reading the text, and it helped me kind of analyze and think more in depth about my own family and relationships, and I really enjoyed it. And this project was definitely something that I'll remember for a while. Alright, well, thank you, and I hope the video wasn't too shaky. I was doing it on my iPad for the first time, trying that out, so I hope it turns out okay. Have a good day.